Where's our live events? RAPAXORIS. Epic fantasy. Novel edit. Where are we at? Restream. There's our dashboard. I can see myself. That looks good. I don't know why it still thinks we should be on Periscope. Here, hold on. Let me reboot this whole thing. Yeah, RIP to Periscope. It was actually like a pretty handy streaming service for a hot second. All right, so for whatever reason, Picardo still doesn't work, but I should be on Facebook and all kinds of other what have yous there. And then, yep, there's the video Earl. So let me, there's Big Logic. Yeah, look, gaze upon this fucking Rapasaurus right here. 160,000 words. Ugh. Which means that page 1 is 1 of 689. Fuck me. That's a big ass book. And it needs some work. So I'm going to have to put it together. So we're at 1 of 689 pages. So let's topic that and pound LRH. And who else do I let? I let not math know. And I'm going to go ahead and let firm chats know. Because who doesn't want a bunch of shit posters in here? We'll let Teens for Christ know, because maybe we can get Spate War up in here. And then I let Negi's Discord server know. And then we, the Twitch Writer Network. So for the Twitch Writer Network, I also link my Twitch stream right there. And then let me let, where else do I usually let the JRE Discord know. So I get a few hitters in there. So yeah, today's a little bit different because we're doing some epic fantasy. 8 NaNoWriMo novels. This was never a NaNoWriMo. This is back when I was like early in writing where, what the fuck is... Oh, did I type that there while I was doing this whole thing? So this piece is from fairly early on in my career. I think it was written sometime, I think I started it after Lemon, maybe, well before Gravid. So it's going to need some heavy-duty retooling. Let me see. This one got rejected from a major publisher. It actually made it to the second round of to where like an actual human being sat down with it for like a month and worked on this guy. And ultimately, they came to a conclusion that they couldn't publish it. And reading through, I could definitely see why. So the big complaints about this guy was that it was meandering, that there was a lot of Deus Ex Machina, and in general, just needed like a little bit of tuning and work. And I have to agree with him. Like, I don't think it was really ready for prime time after reading through it. But there's a lot of good shit in here. And so I don't know that we can necessarily resolve the meandering nature of it, because it's about, it's a dungeon crawler. So there's a lot of wandering and blah, blah, blah. We can definitely tune up the plot a little bit. We can do some work on the characters. And I think some of the criticisms of Deus Ex Machina are worthy of addressing right there. Basically, we'll get into it as we get deeper into the novel. But here, let me take a look at. I took some notes so before we did this edit, rewrite a source. Okay, so what are my things? Chapters 1 and 2 suck dick. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't All right, so this book is split up into, I think, similar to how Lemon Maybe was. It's split up into like 7 days. All right, so I have a few notes about which characters need to be more likable, which I agree. I think I have people raise their eyebrows too fucking much, so we'll try and take that guy out. Basically, all of our primary characters are just like a little bit annoying and unlikable, which is a no-no. You can't have that. So I'm gonna need to change that up a little bit. Let's get down into it, and begin our edit here. This is RAPAXORIS. It's an epic fantasy novel. Eventually, at some point in this story, everybody will venture into a vast and sprawling dungeon and get into all kinds of like traps and magical items and whatnot there. So I guess we'll try to make this manuscript like a little bit more fun. It's supposed to be like one of those kind of grim and dark fantasies, but at the same time, like I want people to have a good time reading it. So we'll get into it right here. "You're dead, idiot," the old man said. Well, I can see an issue right away. Oh, hold on. Actually, let me make a new document here, too. So, not there. Actually, I'm going to open the... Let's see. All right, so... File new... Congratulations, Logic, on winning the leaderboard for all 3 short stories. And then we'll make this the RAPAXORIS leaderboard. Okay, and then... And we'll have our counts down there. And then I'm going to put in Logic. So I did hear from Big Spiffy Wah, and he said that he could help me set up the ebook on there. Yeah, it's something I can do it, but not quite as well as he can. I really have difficulty getting dealing with like all the fucking what do you want to call it? All the XML or ebooks are just basically like websites, essentially. In fact, like you can just open them up in a in Chrome or pretty much any whatever, because they're just like XML and a bunch of scripting and so forth. And I was never any great shakes at dealing with HTML and XSS and CSS and all that whatnot. So yeah, that's why. But Spathy is a fucking genius at a number of things, so he usually gives me a hand with that. All right, well, let's get down into it. This is RAPAXORIS by Zach ZYZ. This is day 1 of, well, if we do 10 pages a day, then we only have to do 68 days. It'll probably be about 120 days to edit this guy. So if it is currently June... All right, so... So it's June 3rd right now. So 30 days. So June, July, August, September. Let's try to finish this by October 1st, which is the date that Zeros will come out. I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. We have to do some structural work on this guy for the most part. It needs like a little bit of help. Some of these chapters are going to have to get slimmed and come out and be rewritten and so forth. I would assume that the first 2 chapters may need some extensive rewriting. Might be going to Europe in the summer. I'm hoping I'm going to Europe in the summer too, man. Like, whoa. But this one, it's not the end of the world if we don't do this on a tight deadline. I think there's like a non-zero chance that at some point I will want to work on... I've got a couple of irons in the fire as far as stories that I'd like to keep working on. But it's well past time to begin this edit. So let's see what we can do with it, and see if we can make a publishable book about this one. So chapter 1. "You're dead, idiot," the old man said. Revel looked down, and the blade was against his thigh. Oh, wow. Yeah, fuck. Let me let me revise this. It might take longer to edit. Revel looked down. The blade was against his thigh, resting so gently he hadn't even felt it. If it had been a real Laz blade. uh, da, da, da. Holy shit. I really am hopeful that other chapters do not need a similar level of work right there. This is I can't believe I got to consideration right there. But this is all like shit that we learned doing the last 3 edits. Like I didn't know any of this stuff until we got deep into it. Hold on, is that fucking? I just don't care about this guy. Oh wait, it's basically I do care. Okay. I'm gonna pause for 1 second. I'll be right back, Logic, because I just have a request from Big Space. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, our homie Big Spiffywa needed an InDesign markup language file to help him with the presets. All right, let's take a look back at the chat. Semicolon oi doggo. I know. I made him big this time around there. You're dead, idiot, the old man said. Revel looked down. I don't like it. Uh, A real blade would have cut right through, all the way to the bone. Yeah, it's like not certain whose sword of it is. Revel looked down. The blade of the training rapier. Revel looked down. The dull blade of the training rapier was pressed against his thigh. He hadn't even felt it. Okay, cool. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. Probably even with the tourniquet. He hadn't even felt. No, 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 no. It was the old man's third touch in a row. A real blade of Laz steel would have cut him to the bone. Yeah, I like the last part there. Revel looked down. The dull blade of the training rapier was pressed against his thigh. Again. It was the old man's third touch in a row. A real blade of Laz steel would have cut to the bone. A real blade of Laz steel would have cut right through. Yeah, that's... Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is the one where we really get to work on this motherfucker. It was the old man's third touch in a row. Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. A tourniquet couldn't save you. Mm-hmm. Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. Tourniquet couldn't save you. The old man withdrew his blade, then suddenly jabbed it back, twice as hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's too much to drop on people. So one of the central rubrics of this fantasy world, which is called, I think it was like Arcady or something like that, um, with a Y, is that it's sort of like a Mediterranean type situation, and I think the central conceit is that the primary ocean causes memory loss. So like the deeper you sail into it, the more you forget. And there are a few different core mechanics that are in it there. There was no mercy in those pale gray eyes. Everyone called the old man Fish. He couldn't remember his name. He'd washed up on the beach one day like driftwood. Oh, I like that kind of. He'd been losing touch. Oh, I don't like how losing touches off. Up, 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 up. Man, we are in trouble if we need this much work on every single thing. Now let's read what we've done so far. "You're dead, idiot," the old man said. Revel looked down. The dull blade of the training rapier was pressed against his thigh. Again. It was the old man's third touch in a row. "Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. Tourniquet couldn't save you." Yeah. Maybe don't use, yeah. Yeah, that's what we did with his first thing. Yeah. Yeah, we're removing a ton of comments from this guy. Let me see here. Uh, yeah. It definitely needs some work. Well, it's good. Like I like that we can actually have qualifiable improvement. I think one of the reasons why the editing streams for stuff like Lemon Maybe and Gravid were like so much slower is because I had learned a lot. Like when we were like editing the short stories, I wrote those like a week ago, so I haven't learned anything in like a week. So yeah, like it's nice to be have some time and distance to where you can improve on things. And definitely we can improve. The first two chapters are really choppy. Once we get some characters involved, it starts to flow. But yeah, I like it. It's actually promising. All the shit that I can see where it's like choppy and slow and so forth, all of that is like tons of room for improvement in this whole piece. And I can talk a little bit about like what I've learned and uh, where this all goes. Also, we have to write a whole new ending for this piece. Like, no, I'm just putting it out there. I don't like the way that it ends. Well, I like a few things about how it ends, but like probably we're either going to be taking out about 50 pages of this guy or adding about 50 pages, one way or the other, and trying to come to a more satisfying conclusion. But yeah, like this is like we're taking the first axe swings at a fucking forest of redwoods here. I can feel it already. But I have the time and the drive to do this now. He withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. He withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. There was no mercy in his ancient gray eyes. Uh, Boom. The young man's tone was sharp. He hadn't scored a single touch all morning. Ugh. I don't like introducing characters this way. Uh, Wait, cops crawling over your street and building right now? Oh shit. Hide the merc. Don't let them get you. Every once in a while, they'll swarm my neighborhood too, for some fucking reason. I don't like this description. No, I don't like that either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Revel V. Ramos was the firstborn son of Duke Ramos. At a glance, comma, anyone could see he'd never wanted for anything. Yeah, I like the at a glance thing. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah, it's really tell here. Um, Yeah. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Well, it doesn't throw an error. Let's find out. Yeah. Nope. Not hyphenated. Fistborn. Tending to use commas where I'd suggest semicolons. Yeah, I mean, I always do that. I don't like semicolons. Like here. I could not even remember. He remembered nothing, not even his name. Everyone called him Fish. That's better. Yeah. I think that's gonna get rewritten. The firstborn son of the Duke, Revelry Ramos had never wanted for anything. This is we're laying it on a little bit thick. Let's check out this. We have to specify that it's him. Meat at every meal meant he was a head taller than most. His shoulders were broad. There we go. A rich man's mouth. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, yeah, I think feared in Illinois. Yeah, this is a little bit better. The firstborn son of the Duke, Revel had never wanted for anything. Meat at every meal meant he was a head taller than most. His shoulders were broad. His hair was a long mane of black curls. His smile was white and perfect. A rich man's mouth. He wasn't smiling now. Oh, that's much better. Mm-hmm. So I think we're overdoing it a little bit with the touches. Okay, so we have mhm. Okay, so we're gonna move this guy there, there, because it's like a joke that's supposed to happen, right? So we can move that down to there. Then we can draw a contrast between Fish and Revel, so that we understand why we're going into this. That's better. The old man's face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one Revel had ever seen. I like that better, yeah. So, this is Revel's POV right here. Um, so it's a little bit difficult in a chapter where you're in a character POV to have a description of the character VOV. People always do some stupid shit like he saw himself in the reflection of his eyes, and or there's like a convenient mirror or whatever there. The reader needs an idea of who they're looking at to start to form any kind of attachment to the character, and there are like a lot of gimmicks and so forth for it. But I think here it's better to really yeah, we're just stating it directly here, but it's about it's kind of a balance between and just like, oh, it's dumping fucking narrative onto me. I think the trick is to make it like a little bit shorter here to try and so I want something to draw a contrast between the two. Everyone just called him Fish. No, that just doesn't fit there. Losing was a new feeling for Revel. He didn't care for it. Yeah. I'm already on top of it. Losing was a new feeling for Revel. He could not swallow it. He was a head taller than Fish, broad of shoulder, in the full flower of youth. The firstborn son of Duke Ramos. Okay, so let's try this out. Losing was a new feeling for Revel. One he couldn't swallow. He was a head taller than Fish, broad of shoulder, and in the... I think full flower is like a little fucking cliche. All right. This is much better. Defeat was a new feeling for Revel, one he couldn't swallow. He was a head taller than Fish. His shoulders were broader. He was literate, educated, and he trained with... Mm-hmm. I think later in the book we establish Duke Ramos's name. Um, with all those advantages, Revel was losing every try. Badly. Okay, so let's see how heavy are we laying this on? Because this is the reader's first real experience with the book. Defeat was a new feeling for Revel, one he couldn't swallow. He was a head taller than Fish. His shoulders were broader. He was better fed, better educated. His shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich curls. Likely to thwart lice. That once he'd been the hair is an important point. Okay, so that fixes that entire fucking situation. I'm glad that we didn't. I'm sad that we. Yeah, I like. That's better. Once he'd been. He was the firstborn son of the Duke, and Duke is capitalized. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm gonna give you a point for that guy. Boom. I'm gonna give you two because I think if you had it like two, that most of them, just because when we're in the rewrite stage, I'm like changing shit so many times that some of your stuff can't register. But I think only this chapter and the next one are gonna be this rough, and then I get into the swing of it as I'm writing. Tourniquet couldn't save you. There is a big vein there, by the way, and he really would bleed out like a pig. Oh shit, Brongulus. God damn. How'd you get back in here? Did your schedule get fixed, or is this just like a rare thing? We're working on an epic fantasy, and it is rough going so far. I think I've gotten through 2 paragraphs in an hour. Yeah, this one was written before any of the other books that you saw us edit. And so it's like I knew less what I was doing here. We may wind up abandoning the whole prospect, but I don't think so. I think we can fix this. Um, Brongles, were you there for any of the Zeros editing? Because I'm gonna get the new proof for the hardcover today. Actually, one's coming in the mail, and it's gonna come out on October 1st. If you missed that one, I think you were out for most of that one. But every hard fought meter of mud has been worth it. It's pretty decent right here. Um, this character needs to be more sympathetic. Overall in the course, I will tell you, like his arc is probably going to be a tragic arc, but at this point, anything can change in the story. Like every single thing in the story could be shifted up and changed because it's a good story, but there's some really neat shit in here, but it needs some heavy work. Um, I mean, I think I started writing this like 10 years ago, so um, it probably took about 3 years to write, and it's just not good enough to print yet. So you missed all of Zeros. Sleep schedule is almost always a mess. Same here, man. Fucking same here. Oh fuck! I rebooted that machine. Oh no, I shouldn't have rebooted that machine. I just realized that I fucked up a process. I just really like the line, "A rich man's mouth." He wasn't smiling now. That's better. Yeah. So I agree that those are independent clauses, but I just much rather. I think the semicolon needs to fucking go as a punctuation mark in English. It's too nebulous and ambiguous. Um, it just doesn't do the work that it needs to do to have a place in punctuation. I think it's just either colon or fucking nothing. We should just mash those two together. I'm not even too crazy about the fucking colon, to tell you the truth. Um, but I don't think we gave a name to the this bay. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Well, let's get into Latin. So I want to give a name to this. I like Palipas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go for Palipas. Why do I have a word open? What the fuck was I doing there? I like Palipas. Yeah, I think that is an errant comma. Da, 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 da. Fuck, I'm not doing any semicolons at all. Like none in the entire book. Let's see. Just, there we go. We're gonna take Bradius's advice and just make it an A. Yeah. Let's see. 5. All right. Let's go back, and we unfortunately, because this is so choppy, we have to keep going back and going back and going back because it just wasn't done right the first time. It's like having to plane a piece of wood over and over again because the grain is so choppy. "You're dead, idiot," the old man said. Why? So much better. So much better without that fucking line. "You're dead, idiot." Revel looked down. The dull blade of the old man's training rapier was pressed against his thigh. Again. It was the third touch in a row. "Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. Tourniquet couldn't save you," the old man crowed. He withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. There was no mercy in his ancient gray eyes. The old man had washed up on the beach one day like driftwood. He remembered nothing, not even his name. Everyone called him Fish. His face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one Revel had ever seen. Defeat was a new feeling for Revo V. Ramos, one he couldn't swallow. He was a head taller than Fish. His shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich black curls. Fish's hair had been trimmed down to stubble to thwart lice. Revel was educated and literate. He trained with a sword every day since his 6th birthday. As the firstborn son of the Duke, he'd once been heir to all of Laz. Even his smile was white and perfect, a rich man's mouth. He wasn't smiling now. Fish and Revel were sweating in the sun on a desolate spit of sand at the northern fringe of Polypus Bay. I like Polypus. It was the third day of sparring, and Revel hadn't landed a single touch. Fish never let him forget it. Laughter and insults flew from the commoner's mouth in a constant barrage of... Oh, that's not a good line. Yeah, I wonder why I am. I like all these sentences are essentially like semicolon sentences. I think there's something about like the mode that I try to write epic fantasy in, where it's like um for some fucking reason I think it sounds cool to have your sentences stacked on top of each other like that, and it's the first thing that we cut out when we're editing. In 3 days of sparring, Revel hadn't landed a single touch. Fish never let him forget it. Every word out of his crooked grin was an insult. Yeah. No one had ever dared to speak to Revel this way, and no one had ever beaten him so badly at anything. His inner thigh still stung. I'm not doing it. Let's move on. Like I'm too annoyed at semicolons to even think straight. Then you're wide open. The jab would have bounced right off a thigh plate. You were wide open. I could have taken your head off. Comma. Yeah, and then we can cut out that. My mistake. I didn't realize you were wearing armor. You won't feel this at all then. Yeah, well, my mistake. I didn't realize you were wearing armor. You won't feel this at all. So here is an annoying point where um, an M dash is the correct pronunciation for that right there. But like half the editors I work with are like, oh yeah, you had a period after that. I don't like it. All throughout Zeros, they wanted me to add commas after the fucking quotation marks when we do this thing. I don't like that one bit. Mm-hmm. I think it's pommel that we're going for right here. Yeah. Yeah, the pommel. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, okay, so it's still a pommel. Yeah, they wanted commas after end quotes, and I was like, fuck, I'm not doing that. Yeah, yeah, like the proofreader wanted there are like 100 spots in Zeros where he wanted commas after end quotes, and I'm not doing it. Yeah, like I'm not. If there's a period in there, the comma is wholly superfluous, and it doesn't add any clarity to the reader. So yeah, I had to reject all of it. I actually might have missed some edits just in my disdain for commas after end quotes. Um, but in general, his proofreading was like stellar. Like even though we had that punctuation disagreement, um, which is a disagreement also between him and my the actual editor, because the editor also doesn't believe in that thing. The guy who proofread is older, and it was definitely a convention back in the day, but one that's fallen out of use, and I think we can get away without. My mistake. I didn't realize you were wearing armor. You won't feel this at all. The old man's shoulder twitched. You've done it before. Revel had gotten cracked in the skull that way twice. But this time, it was a feint. Fish kicked as Revel ducked, catching him square in the balls with the toe of his boot. No, it is not. Um, yeah. Better, much better. This time it was a feint. Fish kicked as Revel ducked, catching him square in the balls with the toe of his boot. Revel keeled over. The practice blade thudded to the ground, and he grasped for. Yeah. It's a little much right here. We need to tune this up a little bit. Oh shit, yeah, yeah. I've thrown up bile many a fucking time. It's not something you forget. It ain't fun. It ain't no fun. And the homies can't have none. Revel keeled over. The practice blade fell from his grip and thudded into the dirt. He curled into a tight ball of misery. Spitting grit and bile. It was sometime. Yeah. Actually, let's keep that out because I know the next thing he does is he like threatens fish. That dirty bastard. Okay. So this is some insight into mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's fucking oh, what was I doing with this fucking chapter? No, Lakey. We get into it later. Yeah. Um, but you know how he's so later on in the story, we find out that this character, because he's been dumped in like the essentially it's like a kind of river Styx type action there. So remember how he can't remember his fucking name and everything. They describe characters who are like that as Lakey. So this sticks out to a reader right here. But hopefully it's like sticking out and like, huh, why does he fucking call him Lakey? And we get into later, like it's revealed a little bit later on. I think we can get away with it there, but we'll reconsider at some point there. I think this is too wordy. Mm-hmm. It's a lucky thing you were wearing your codpiece. Yeah, I don't think you would fucking say that. Yeah, I just don't like that line. Yeah, like it's just too much. It's like yeah, you can just cut that shit out. I like that a little bit better. Guess that codpiece wasn't on right. No, yeah. Oh, that. Revel sputtered with sand in his mouth. I do like that. I think that's a good edit right there. I'm gonna give Logic a point. Boop boop boop. Up 6. Hmm. I hate that air grew tense. Mm. Yeah, I don't like rippled with readiness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go through this. This time, it was a feint. Fish kicked as we already did that. Um, that lakey bastard. Fish stood over Revel, shaking his head. Guess that codpiece wasn't on right. I'll kill you, Revel sputtered, with sand in his mouth. Oh, oh, I actually do like Bradius's suggestion right there. I'm gonna take that. I'll kill you, Revel sputtered through a mouthful of sand. I'll kill you. The fisherman's smile evaporated. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. Revel realized it didn't matter how dull the point was if Fish decided to jam it into his eye. Uh, no, I didn't, Revel coughed. I know you didn't. We're don't just say passive voice. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, the practice plate. Yeah, that, all right there. Mm-hmm. That is a good suggestion. Yeah, it's so much better if he's like, shh, that number right there. No, no, no. Yeah, that's actually it's really good feedback. Just it took me a second to figure out what part you were talking about. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. He pointed the rapier at Revel. The prone nobleman realized it didn't matter how dull the point was if Fish decided to jam the rapier in his eye. I like that a little bit better. So he pointed the rapier at the prone nobleman's nose. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I like it, but it's not good. He pointed the rapier at the prone man's nose. I don't like. He leveled the point of the rapier an inch from Revel's nose. Better. Yeah, this is much stronger. I mean, anywhere where we think like this is passive or whatever, we can make even if the voice is not passive, like the choice can be more active, right? And this is just more cinematic right there. Where he's like, "Fuck you," with the point of his rapier. Yeah, so big improvements in this chapter so far. Yeah, I just want to figure out how to word this. Dull or not, in a blink he could shove it through Revel's eye. Yeah, yeah, that's better. That's even better. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. He leveled the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. Dull or not, he could put it through Revel's eye in an instant. Okay, and I like in a blink too because we yeah, it was just all kind of wordy. And like I also have to be careful not to slip into like alliteration and rhyme and shit. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. He leveled the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. Dull or not, he could drive it through Revel's eye in a blink. Dull or not, he could drive it through an eye socket before Revel could blink. Okay, so the use of socket there makes us like a little bit more gory, and I think a little bit more ham-fisted. But I think this is as far as we can get with this paragraph. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. He leveled the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. Dull or not, Fish could drive it. Oh yeah. Dull or not, Fish could drive the blade through Revel's eye faster than he could blink. That's better. That's where I want to go. So in terms of like how fucking hokey we want this to be, we're not going for camp. Like it should read. I mean, there's an inherent hokiness and like, oh, there's demons and treasure and shit like that. Um, but we're not allowed to be fucking corny at any point, right? So if anything comes across, it's like, like, and it sucks because like the last two stories we were like, oh yeah, we can be aggressively fucking corn pone. Not this time. And in fact, things like now we're editing for real, so all those little darlings and so forth, like little funny things, they have to come out, right? Like here, um, like the rhyme of revel and level right here is something that we would actively try to avoid because it's distracting to the reader. Distracting. It's distracting to the reader. And placed the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. He positioned the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. Dull or not, Fish could drive the blade through Revel's eye faster than he could blink. That's so much better, right? You think about the initial paragraph, it was just all fucking hokey and long-winded. This is what we wanted right there. It has like the little kind of gory, like, hey, I'm threatening you, right there. It doesn't have to get too graphic or whatever. Like, I'm glad we took out socket. Much, much better paragraph. I think fantasy is the only thing more sensitive to being corny than even hip hop. Faster Than You Can Blink is cliche, um, but we, and I will fully agree with you there, but it is appropriate given that we're talking about him literally jabbing it into his eye faster than he can blink to protect himself. And I'm willing to use that cliche there, just because it's specific and appropriate to the context right there. So the thing that banishes cliche is if it's absolutely appropriate in the time, and I think that it is. So, and just FYI, at the end of this session, we'll have gotten through 4 pages, which would mean that it would take almost 200 days at that rate to edit this fucking novel. Like, we would spend a year on this, which I'm willing to do if we have to, because I like where it's going. I like the story so far. I didn't. Revel coughed. I know you didn't. If you had, I'd leave you on this island. I know you didn't. Mm-hmm. All right. I know you didn't. If you had, why? I'd just get back in my boat. So I think the whole ship to Kaz thing, people wouldn't say that. Mm-hmm. How long would you wait? The ship to Kaz was yesterday. It won't be back anytime soon. No food, no shelter. Okay. Break into Sue sentences. Double quote. Oh, yeah, indeed it do. I know you didn't. I wouldn't suffer a threat. I'd get back in my boat and leave you here to pray for a passing ship. Revel sat up with some effort. We don't need some. He wasn't ready to stand. Better. Oh, so this is about as late as Brongulus. That's yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, we would welcome your aid here, while Big Spathy is ass out. Although, shout out to Spathy for helping to format the ebook. What a G. What a fucking G. Um. So yeah, we're almost done with this chapter. I hope. Um. Revel sat up with effort. He wasn't ready to stand. The old man's eyes never left him. They were cold and uncaring, the pure, colorless gray of those who ventured too deep into the lake for too long. We're going to use lake and sea interchangeably here. Who knew what fish would do? He couldn't even remember his name. How long would you wait? The ship to Kaz was yesterday. No food, no shelter. You might last a day. Not many fishing boats come out this far. Hell yeah. What do you think about that, you cocksucking, kick-ducking shant? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is like kind of an awkward phrasing. How long would you wait? The ship to Kaz was yesterday. No food, no shelter. You might last a day. Not many fishing boats come out this far. Maybe you could swim for it. Hope every shark in the sea lost his appetite. That's better. Maybe you could swim for it. Hope the sharks aren't hungry. What do you think about that, you cocksucking, kick-ducking shant? Fish laughed long and hard, while Revel hung his head. Kick-ducker. That's rich. I gotta tell Herc that one. The Most High smile on you, boy. I'll spare you today. But you won't forget this. But you won't forget this, will you? Never threaten me again. Never threaten me until you're ready to kill me or die yourself. I won't forget, Revel swore. All right, so we just got to get this paragraph to into shape, and then we can stop for the day. 4 pages, fucking ridiculous. I won't forget, Revel swore. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, there we go. That was the end of sparring. Sitting gingerly on the plank, Revel rode them back. Revel rowed the battered dinghy back to Laz. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think the construct that we were trying to get, that was the end of sparring. Sitting gingerly on the plank, Revel rowed the battered dinghy back to Laz. Okay, cool. I like that. It just like leads a little bit of uh, ambiguity as to yeah, like this makes this chapter. Oh my god, it's only 2 pages, I think. Oh wait, somehow I got this to. Oh wow, I did it right with the fucking title page. That's a pain in the ass. Okay, so in 1.1 view. Oh, okay, let's move our word count over so I don't have to look at this fucking thing all day. This goes way over there. And then it's only like 500 words. 689 words. That's terrible. All right, so day 1 is going to be 689 words. And let's see. Oh, I've got to change the bit rate. For the stream. It's at 720 penis, and that needs to change. So right after this. But how long did we have on this whole thing? Yeah, I don't know when we began this whole thing. Let's see. Maybe I can get it from Restream chat. 227. Okay, so that's not promising. Yeah. Ooh. That's but it is something. And then significant improvements to the chapter right there. Logic is in the lead with a big 8. I must change the stream from 720p. I don't understand why it's 720p. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to do is I want to put a manual page break in Pages. Okay, so function command return is how we do this page break here. So, and then function command enter. Cool. All right, and having manual no, you fucking there. So function command enter. Having manual page breaks just makes my life a little bit easier when I go back to typeset it. Otherwise, I just have to. It's just it's something that I have to do in InDesign every single time. So, okay. Well, at least we get into a sex scene tomorrow, so that's a little bit better. Whew, rough fucking going. Getting back into the groove. Yeah, like it's a long ass edit. And we did get a chapter. I think we're just gonna shoot for like a chapter every day. Maybe some days we'll do two or whatever. But while I'm recording the audiobook, I can't stream my voice with like a 4-hour editing session or whatever. So we're going to shoot for like about 2 hours every day so that I don't wear myself out because I need to be working on the audiobooks. All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much, Logic, for being a part of this. I need to change the feed from 720p. And it's a good start to the story. 3 pages. That's so bad. Oh. But they really are choppy, and they really needed a lot of work. And it's the first part of the book that anybody will touch, so it's the most important to get right. And it's something, I identified this and the next chapter as being particularly shitty. So you just throw the fucking book away if the first chapter is shitty. I'm not 100% that we will even keep that chapter that we worked on. We might choose to go somewhere in the distance. So something that we can think about whether or not it makes sense. All right. Let me get out of here. Have a good day today.